So in this video I'm going to show you how I got through disassembling this top lift plate and the hydraulic cylinder and all the bits and bobs associated with it, and then sticking it back together with nice shiny new bits. So it's gone from a sloppy old bag of bolts to a nice usable one again. So hope you enjoy it. So there it is. I've got to replace these bushes in here, so I'm going to have to get that pin out. So I might have to go and see my mate Grizz and use his big ass press, because I haven't got a big press. It's probably going to be nicer to press it out than it is to try and smack the crap out of it, because smacking the crap out of stuff just bends stuff. So we will go and see Grizz. I will take this out. I think I'll take this little split pin out here and take this pin for the piston out. I'm going to totally take this apart, I think, but yeah, I reckon what I'll do first is I should go and get myself some degreaser so I can do it properly. There's no point half-arsing stuff, is there? So I'm going to go and get my unenvironmentally friendly degreaser and see if we can get this out. Now I'm not sure if there's one way this comes out or that shaft, whether it goes out that way or that way, who knows. But I've also got to get this, I'm going to have to take this off, I'm going to have to pull this off, and so you can see that actuates on that thing there, doesn't it? Yes. Anyway, there we go. Get this little sod off. I'm going to get to that one under there. They're all going to run. I should pull this actuator arm off as well, off the side one here. Might as well, eh? So I've got to go up to my mate's probably tomorrow anyway to look at an electrical job for him for his workshop, and while I'm there I could take this with me and see if we can chuck it on his press and just get this pin out. I think I've got a set of bushes for it that I got with the tractor, because the guy was going to do it himself, but I think it turned out to be in a too hard basket, so he never bothered, which is good for me, not so good for him. Something down there to pull that out. Yes. Yeah, that's all still attached, so I'm going to have to just cut the bugger, aren't I? Bit of a shame. If that's what's got to happen, that's what's got to happen. There must be another pin in there. Anyway, let's move that on the side a minute. Might as well get this off while I'm here. And apparently these are adjustable for the arms, so you should be able to slide them backwards and forwards to adjust where it reacts against. So this wasn't doing anything when I took it off, but I think it was not really moving it, so probably needs a bit of adjustment, doesn't it? I did get it to free off though. It was seized onto the there's a bit of friction material in there, like cork or rubber or something, and that was seized solid. But I gave it a few donks in a bit of heat, and it freed it up. So the way they work, there's a little spring washer there, and that gives you a bit of tension onto the friction material. So as when you put your implement up or down, it stays there, don't start popping around. No, I don't want to damage the other bits there, so. Was a bit tight. That's better. Got to do all this stuff, eh? There's no point selling someone a tractor and they come back and have a whinge because it's not working. So I might as well get it all working properly for them, so they ain't got to do nothing apart from polish it and take it to shows or just drive it round looking smug. Come out, you little bugger. Go. Right. And that's that bit. It don't look too bad, to be fair. It's not rusty like everything else. Still got paint on it. Maybe it's a new one, don't know. Anyway, that's good. So get myself another box for these nuts and bolts and that bloody loose stuff. Right, so here we are, that's that all. So I'm going to go and have a quick look, see if that's available, as to see how I'm going to cut it off, etc. So I've pulled off the piston and the cylinder, and I've pulled off most of these bits. I'm just giving them a bit of a birthday in a degreaser. Then I'll chuck this in a degreaser. Then I'm going to see if I can knock this out. Never know, I might be able to. Then I'm going to give it a bead blast and the other bits over there, give it a bit of a birthday, make it look a bit more purdy. So I'm going to get on and play with that. Right, I'm just going to try and pop this piston out with some compressed air. It's a bit tight. He's a bit tight. Just want to quickly show you this while there's no interruptions, but it's had a little tiny bit of surface rust inside here. So I've got my hone, which is the same one I use for bores, and I just use this as a little bit of lubrication down there like that. Do a little bit of a clean up. Don't want to go too mad though, but see what that looks like. Do a little wash out. Go. That actually looks really good now. Taking a lot of the scores out of it. Anyway, I should let that dry off. And next thing to do is check the piston rings, make sure they're all in tolerance and whatever. But yeah, exactly the same thing as you use for your cylinders, pretty much. Well, I'm going to show you one of those, like that. Does it a treat. So the first thing I've done is I've bead blast the control mechanism. I've got to strip it down now and clean it all out. I've got a new friction pad for there, which is cork, which I ordered and it came today. This all needs to come apart and be greased. And obviously it's going to be painted when it goes back on the tractor. I've got that part that's already nearly ready to go, apart from stripping it down. Then I've got the yoke that controls your where your levers move up and down. Well, that controls that valve on the pump. One thing I did notice is this has got wear on it from the piston, so it's worn into the edge there where it reacts against the piston. So what I will do is I shall build it up with some weld and grind it off again so it's nice again. And then I've got to get all the sand out of it as well, the glass out of it, so I should do that as well, give it another rinse off, and then that'll be ready to go. Oh, and also the rubbing plate for there, if you can see that, it's come unspot welded, so I shall reattach that as well, weld that back on, and then there's nothing wrong with that once that's done. That'll be good to go. Also, looks like this has been off before as well, this pump, because someone has had a go at these bolts. So these bolts have been welded on the ends because the heads were slightly too small to catch against the side of the pump. Sorry, against the side of the piston and cylinder there. So they were just spinning. Yeah, so someone's obviously been in here before, so it's obviously had problems back in the day. But what they did seem to have worked, so we'll do that. Now I've got to sacrifice this pin here, this one here that controls that bit. I can't get it off, it's C-solid, so I'm going to cut that through there. Hopefully once I've got that off I should be able to get enough heat on this one, this top part of the pin, to get that out and undo that from that shaft. Because again there's bugger all around. I might even have to make one, I don't know, but anyway I'm going to get that off and going to give that a bloody good clean as well. Look at the state of it. I'm probably going to bead blast this and bead blast the pin once they're all degreased. See if this is going to be nice. Snap off like that. Right, that's that bit off. To be fair, there's probably enough left on there if I wanted to. To grind that and weld that back on. I'm pretty certain I could do that, so I might do that so I've got a spare one. But I do need to get this out, and that is like rusted solid, I guess, so yeah, we'll see how we go with it. I have ordered a new one, so we'll see what turns up. But next thing, in me cleaning bath. Right, so I've chucked these bits through the parts washer and got most of the crap off, all the grease and whatever. So I'm going to stick that in the bead blaster, but I'm going to mind I don't get that surface there, which is where that push rod acts on. Other than that, I can blast the rest of it. I want to get all the splines clean. I've got to put that through the parts washer yet and get all the crap off the splines of that. And then we'll bead blast that. Then I can get the last remaining bush out of this, which is still stuck in there. Very worn, but I may use part of it. I might part it off and use it. So I've got some new bushes that came with the tractor. They're different to the ones that are in there. I'm not sure what they're made out of, but that's those. And I'm going to push those in further, so as they act on down here somewhere, hopefully, where the shaft's not that worn. Then I'll put a part of the other bush in, and then I'll probably get an O-ring and push that in before I put the arms back on. But that's what I've got. So I'm going to go and get on with bead blasting that and giving this a bloody clean up. Well, I've cleaned that up in the old bead blaster. I think it's not too bad. Still got a nice bit of smooth bearing surface here and there, you know. And as I say, this tractor's probably not going to go do any hard work. It's just not. The last one was rattling about like that, which was no good. So that's all clean. And then I've given that a little bit of a clean over as well. So that's nice and clean now. Got all the rust out. There we go. The next bit I'm going to do is I'm probably going to push. Oh, that's all clean as well. That fork near. Next bit is I'm going to try and push out this bush, and then I can put in the one new bush, and then I can measure how much of the old bush I want to put back in on top, and leave a space for an O-ring. And these nice new bushes can be popped in as well. So that's my next job. So I'm going to go and get some blocks or something to hold this up, and just try and drift this brass bush out. It should come pretty easy, I think. I might go from the other way. I might go that big, like that. So I'm going to find something that's about the same size and see if I can welt it through. So, funny enough, that pin's the right size because it knocked the other one out. So I'm going to try and drift that through that way. She's going. Will be much easier with the press, but my press isn't here yet, which is depressing. Well, I ain't swore yet either. Almost there. And that's that one out. Very nice. So I shall reuse part of that. So I shall clean the crap out of here, and I should be able to put one of our nice new ones in. Lovely. So I'll try and drift a new one in, but I won't use that method. I'll probably use a socket or something. I don't know, but I'll give this a bit of a clean up in here. little bit rough down the bottom, so I might get some clean on it and a bit of emery cloth and just give it a wipe round. So that one's all clean. So what I'm going to do, put a little bit of copper slip in here. Could use normal grease, but I've got copper slip and it sort of stays there, doesn't it? I'm going to have to try and drift that new bush in without buggering it up, eh? It's actually going in a lot easier than the other one come out, isn't it? That'll probably do. So, wait. The next bit, just put that back in, innit? So what should I do? A bit of copper slip on there as well. Help it all go inable and outable. Again, this I suppose when it was built it would have had grease in it, but over the years it's disappeared, or oil, but because she was well and truly seized on. As I said before, I think it was 20 tonne of pressure to get this to move, which is a fair old bleeding bit of pressure. You wouldn't put your finger in it, that's for sure, Gov. But this old gear here, do it in treat. And then I've got to do those other arms as well, so I've still got to get the pins out, and they're going to need to be pushed out. But I could bead blast them and give them a bit of a birthday as well. Now what I will do on here is just mark where there's like a master spline, so if I mark that on the outside here, I hopefully can get it in the right place, otherwise it won't go on. That's enough of that on there. So I should go and get a pen and just mark that. Oh look, there's one there. Where's that one in? So there you go, just mark where that master spline is. Now we can see if we can get this in. Now I've got a bit of copper slip on that new bush as well. Get it in there. Go. Lovely jubbly. I'm probably going to have to bang this through, but that should be all right. mark on here as well, I think. It must be pinged on there as it goes through. Better. Knockometer. That is lovely. It went through really easy actually, which is nice. Right, now I could chuck the other one in. So I'll put it up on a couple of wooden blocks, so I'll get a couple of wooden blocks. Right, we're all ready for our next boosh. I'm going to give it a lower pin round here. Loads in here. I guess once it's got some oil flicking around in there as well, it'll lubricate it a bit more, won't it? Now then, I'm going to use the old bush just to get that started, I think, and then I can work out how much of this I'm going to cut. I want to chuck an O-ring in there just to I don't want to go too far with it because I'll get that stuck in there, won't I? But it's got to go another 30 millimeters or 20 mils through, so I should find something to poke it in with. So there we go, that's back in. There's a little tiny bit of play, but nothing like it was. You can expect a little bit because the shaft's worn, but yeah, that's pretty bloody good now, and it moves nice and free, look. Which is what you want, isn't it? So what I can do now is get my vernier, measure down inside there, and I can part a piece of this off, so as that bangs back inside there, and just leave it, I don't know, about 4 mil for a big O-ring, and that'll keep any crap out of there, won't it, hopefully, when I put it back together. So we'll do that, and then I might move on to the old the cylinder and the piston and see if I can make that O-ring fit on our old piston, or whether it's a waste of time. But yeah, I'll have a quick look. So I've got that little piston out right there, so it's got your 3 rings. I think the tolerance from is, I think, between 8 and 14 thou, something like that, for the gap. But what I'll do is I'll probably pop this bottom ring off, because I reckon there's enough meat there for me to machine that way and make room for, where is it? So in this kit you get an O-ring and a leather washer. So if I measure that O-ring, the depth and everything, and the width with the washer, I should be able to just expand that groove for that last ring, and that means these rings will still be lubricated by the oil and the back of the O-ring. So I should have a look at that and see if it's a viable idea. But apparently that rubber O-ring is a lot better than the rings, because the oil, pretty much what it does, it goes through that groove there, then it comes down, finds the next groove through that one, and then round there to that groove, and then obviously leaks out back into the gearbox. But with the O-ring, it seals it properly. So my bore is pretty good. I might give it a little bit more of a hone. I was looking at it in this light. It's got a couple of little scratches in there, but nothing too serious. But yeah, a bit more of a hone, and I think we'll be on a winner chicken dinner. So I will hone that first, make sure that's going to come up nice, and then I'll see if I can get this last piston ring off without breaking it, just in case I do need to use it. And yeah, and then see if I can machine that slot bigger. Anyway, I'm going to hone that first. Right, I've just given that a little bit of a hone, and I'm quite pleased with how that's come out. Nice and smooth. It's not perfect, but it's 100 times better than it was, and I think we'll be on a winner with it. So I'll leave that there. Next thing, get one of these rings out. I should go and get my vernier and measure the O-ring and see what I've got to machine off. So here's the bits I'm looking for, and that is 7.43 millimeters. So what I've done is I've machined out that piston. So I've got just measurements roughly from the O-ring inside the bore and squished it open, but I've got that is now 55.2, and that width of the slot is about 7.48. So that is about 7.57, so that's a little bit of squish will go in there. So hopefully when I put that together, that should be a nice interference fit into the cylinder and do what the new pistons do, but with still the rings on, and it's cost me bugger all apart from a little bit of about 10 minutes on the lathe. So you could do that as well if you wanted to. I'm sure it'd work for everybody else, but it seems like a cheap as fix for me. I am gonna just consult Google to see which way that O-ring goes, that leather O-ring on the rubber, whether it goes oil side or the other side. So anyway, I'll have a quick look in the boot. So that piston, sorry about the rain, can't do anything about that. 4 seasons in one day and all that in New Zealand. Caught the crowded house anyway. But that's my seals fitted. And now I should be able to pop that in and see if it goes in. So I'll put a bit of oil on it and we'll see if it will fit. If not, I'll just take the seals out and take another slither off, because they're a little bit proud, but that should go in. Anyway, put a bit of oil on it. Well, I'll just push that in and it's going to be lovely. So here we go. It's a very nice fit now. So I reckon that I'll push it right down to the bottom. I think we've got a winner. So that's the piston repaired and repaired for now pretty much, so happy with that. Now that can go back on. So what I should do, Gov, is find the gaskets, give it a little bit of a clean up, make it nice and nice, and then I'll use my aviation gasket sealer on it, because I think this stuff's the nuts. Anyway, I'll give it a clean. So here's our gaskets. So these two are literally just spacers to make it the same thickness, I suppose. Anyway, we're going to put a bit of goop on there. Get these gaskets sitting nice. Mainly worried about around this port where the oil goes through, but I'll give it a bit of a larrikin anyway. And that's just to stick these bits on pretty much, so they don't move when I chuck it on. Right, now I'm going to chuck a little bit on top of this gasket as well. Belt and braces, you know what I mean? So that's not silicon, that's MR5923 Loctite aviation grade, so it's good enough for a bleeding aircraft. It'll be good enough for a tractor, I reckon. I'm just going to get rid of any excess. Right, now we can pop our cylinder back on. And where's my bolts down here? Down here. So we've got 2 long bolts and 2 short bolts. Just do a bit of a clean, they're still a bit oily. So these long ones go in the front of the cylinder there, and the short ones go in the back. I might just give these a rotary wire brush as well, just because I can. Just to clean the threads up a bit. I'll go and do that quick. So them bolts are all nice and clean now and sparkly. So I'm going to put this little fella on, give it a clean again, because when I put some oil in there it's coming out of the port, isn't it? Which is nice. There we go. Now then, I might put some Loctite on these little fellas. So, just keep up on a block like that. I'm surprised at the massive lack of washers they use on these, but they didn't have any on there from new, so I take it don't need any, so I'll go and get some Loctite. So I'm just going to put a bit of that on there, on each one. I don't know about you, but I keep this in the fridge, so it's apparently keeps longer. I don't know if that's true or not. I also use super glue, put that in the fridge and all, but again, might be true or it might not be true. Right, I'll check those after, but that'll do for the minute. Now, we might as well throw this back in and our pin. Yeah, which pin was it? That's the thing. Alright, it was just a big long bastard, isn't it? Sloppy old fit that is, but that's the one. That is the one. Should be another pin here somewhere. 1, 2. Two pins out of there. Well, you know what? You know what I forgot, didn't you, go? I need to put that in first, don't I? So I'm going to take it off again. With deep joy, I managed to save this part. So with a lot of heat and some bad language, I got it off. So all I've got to do now is clean it up, cut the pin off. I'm going to re-drill it probably, and that can go back on. So now I can set it on there so I don't lose it. I'm going to remake the other part. So I've ordered bits for this, as I said before, but they're probably not going to be here for about 2 or 3 weeks. So what I might do is clean all these parts up. I might make myself a tin cover for this, and I might make the guide as well, which is just it looks like a metal tube with an end on it. So I've got a piece of steel kicking around. I might as well machine one of them up, and I can put this back together proper, can't I? So that's my plan. So I'm going to go and do that now. Right, so we can get on with this project. So I've just cleaned up that, got the guide off of it. I've tapered the end and it's done the same with the bit I cut. Now I can weld those back together and grind it all up, and it'll be lovely. And it should be as strong as it was before. So I'm just going to stick that in the welder. So there's our pin again then. Back to how it was. So now I can attach that to the other bit. So the old rain's getting a little bit too loud really to do any of this videoing, but I've parted that bush off into two. It's not quite long enough to do what I wanted, but it's a good tight interference fit. So what I'll do is I'll knock it in and leave myself about 4mm at the end, and then that will allow me to hopefully put like a 4 or 5mm piece of O-ring in, and that should keep any crap from going inside. So I should do that. So I'm just giving this a quick test with some compressed air, and got to be careful, it's quite grunty, but it's looking very good. So that means the gaskets are all good and I've got no leaks, so when we come to put it all together it should be lovely. But that's that bit done. So the next stage will be cleaning all these parts up. I might go and give these a bit of a bead blast now and the spring, and then I can make the other part, and then that can go together. So I have ordered all those parts, but they'll probably be 2 to 3 weeks away, and that's going to put me build way behind. So I'd really like to get this and the hydraulic pump and all that back together, so as I can get that in the bloody spray booth, you know. But anyway, I'll give these a bead blast while I've got my wind machine going. So this threading is still a bit tight in this bit that we've cleaned out and got rid of all the pins and what have you. Threading there looks pretty good. So there's a little trick you can do. So what I'm going to do, there's a little bit of a gouge on it. I'm just going to take that off. Like that, but I'm also going to put a slot in it. I'm going to slot that, so when it goes in it sort of self-cleans. Hopefully that should Scooby-Doo it. Let's just see if that's going to work. goes on a little way, then it gets tight, but it's going to probably take a little bit of going up and down, I guess. So maybe once this is on the tractor, I might work this up and down a bit. It's getting easier as we go. Every time you go up a little bit and back off, it goes back to that point, so it's cleaning the thread, which is good. So that's what we'll do. Anyway, that's them bits saved, isn't it? So this is going to be our guide for the spring. There's the old one, or what's left of it, 2 halves there, and on the end of that there would have been like a flange. So I'm going to machine this down. The flange is going to be guesswork, and I'll just make the rest of the parts fit, although I've got 2 other tractors to reference, I guess. So but yeah, I'm going to make this part first, machine this piece of steel. You might have seen that bit of steel before. That's the bit I got back from Roger from 10 God knows how many years ago. Anyway, that's what we're going to make, but without the end missing. So I'm going to machine this down, and I'll probably just jump from here to the finished part, because watching a lathe can be quite boring. Simple as that, just let it do its thing. So you don't have to buy everything, you can make stuff yourself if you've got the skills and the equipment, I guess. Not everybody has got the skills or the equipment. I've sort of been buying bits and bobs to try and make myself as self-sufficient as I can, so I can do everything, you know. I don't like relying on other people too much, so handy bit of kit to have, this. Anyway, I'll jump back to it when it's done. Right, I've done all that lathe work, malarkey, and that's what I've ended up with. I think the original's a little bit bigger at the top, but this does work. But it seats in there, and it gives the bolts some clearance on this plate as well when that goes on there. So your bolts will clear. Now, I've got to make the little tin plate that covers this. So I shall get on with that, and I'm also gonna heat treat that, because the original ones are black, so I imagine they've just been blued. So I'm going to do the same thing as that in my oil, wherever that is, over there somewhere with a blow lamp, and get that ready to go on. I shall make this tin plate. So there you go, there's our new spring guide, nice and blue. There's another bit I'm missing, which is a piece of felt, but I have got some felt, funny enough, so I might be able to make there's a little felt washer that goes on there also, which stops any crap going up and down that shaft as well, so I might make one of those as well. But there's my pin, and that was just done in that old oil I've got, some old, God knows what it was, out of an old compressor. Anyway, next what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw around the plate, I'm going to drill the holes first. And when I cut that shape out, I'll be going bigger, so I'll be going about, well, the thickness of that was about 5 mil, so I should be going about 5 mil bigger on the edge, like that. I'll just roughly mark it out for cutting. Pen's a bit wanky, but it'll do, gov. I'll tie that up after. Anyway, so the hole in the middle is going to be larger, don't forget, because I've got to make it fit over that piece. So when that, where's our hole there? So when that goes on there, I'm going to cut this out cut the hole out smaller, but I'll mark around this. Just for reference. But my hole's going to want to be probably the same size as the inner part. So about that, eh? We want to be that big. It's about probably 20 mil, something like that. Anyway, I've got some gadgets for that, so I'll drill these holes first. I'm going to go and see if I can find my punch, because it'll probably work on this. Right, so there's our holes. Now this is the little gadget I was talking about. It's called a QMax punch. So what you do is it's like a punch in a die. You whack it in the heel, like that. You get an Allen key and you just turn the bugger and it just cuts it out nice and tidy. There you go. And then it just leaves you with a washer pretty much, which is handy, isn't it? There you go. There's the little washer. Very handy little tools. So the next step is, I don't know whether to punch that part first, so as that fits around there, or cut it out. I think I'll cut it out. So I'll get me bench shear. Handy little gadget. I haven't got to get this perfect because I can always trim it, the grinder, afterwards once I've shaped it round our other bit. But again, if you can't get a part, don't be scared to make it, eh? Someone made it in the first place, didn't they? There we go, Captain. So there it is, our plate. So next step is beat the shit out of it to get the shape. So what I will do is put some nuts and bolts through there to hold it together, and then I can welt the crap out of it and it'll stay in place. And then the centre I haven't sussed out yet, but we'll get there. Different ways I could do this. I could heat it up or just smack it. I'm just going to try the smacking method first, but I might have to shrink it with the heat. Take the label off my new tachometer, isn't it? Getting in the way. That's better. We're going to give it a bit of heat as well. Make it a little bit more malleable, wouldn't it? So that's what I've ended up with so far. It's all bent round our plate. Now the next bit is the middly bit. So I shall pop this out and find something to flare that out with, make it go outside that bit, and then there's the felt washer fits underneath it behind there, I believe. So I'll try and do that now. So this is what I'm going to try and do. So I've got a big socket. I know it's not round, but I'll address that after. And a socket the same size as the thing I want to punch through. So if I put that on there like that, that on there like that, and hopefully get this in the vise all in one bit, I might be able to push it through, in theory, but whether it'll work or not, I don't know. It'd work on my press if I had it, wouldn't it? Well, it's doing something. Well, it's sort of done it. It's not quite in the middle, so I might have to give it a little bit of a jiggle around, but does that fit in there? Not yet, but I reckon I can tap that now. Should be able to give it a smack with a hammer and get that on if I get the other bit. So I'll have a go at making it straight, and then we should be on a winner. Now we've got our little tin plate, and that bit fits in there, which is lovely. So that's exactly what I wanted. Another bit we ain't got to buy, but yeah, DIY. There you go. I've just given that a little bit of paint on there, just so it doesn't go rusty underneath that sleeve. So next thing we're going to do is put this back together. But I've just done added up the total spend on this little tractor so far, and I've shocked myself, to be fair. Consider I've made bits as well and saved money here and there, including buying the little tractor. I'm up to $9,750. Oops. It's quite a lot of money, and you don't really notice it when you're kind of doing it in bits and bobs, but when you sit down and look at all the receipts and stuff, it's like, holy shit balls, Captain. That's a lot of money, but I enjoy doing it. Hopefully I can get the money back that I've put into it. Otherwise it, you know, becomes a bloody expensive hobby, doesn't it? But someone will get a very, very nice tractor, show quality, don't you know, and it'll all work. There are a lot of crap ones out there, to be fair. I've seen a lot of crap ones where they get a Dulux overhaul and they're not very nice at all, right for 5 minutes, and then they pack up. But at least this one's been stripped right the way down, everything's done to it. So I can say with hand on heart that it's a good tractor, but bloody expensive. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to continue putting this together. So now I've got me bits and bobs all ready, my plate all made, and I'm also going to give that a little bit of a spray up, just because this gets assembled and then obviously painted afterwards. That just protects underneath there. Anyway, there we go. So I'm going to throw this together now. I'll let that dry a bit, won't I? Then I'm just going to make the felt washer. There's that little felt washer on there. Look, Gov. Next I'll put my nice little plate that we made. And our bolts. Right, Let's just go and get my little rattle gun. Well, that looks bloody marvellous, doesn't it? Look at that. Then we can put our sleeve on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that a loripin of copper slip as well, so it don't stick again. But hopefully this one won't be left outside. Someone will love it, care for it, you know. There we go. I'm also going to give that a load on there, so when that thing goes back on again, that won't seize up, will it? There we go. Plenty of that. You can't have too much of that, can you? And there's our nice, oh, like a glove. Our spring. Right, I think that it's looking good. There we go. That's that all put together. So that is now done, and it can sit there on a bench now until I come to put the thing back together. Next thing I'm going to do is going to crack on with this hydraulic pump, but that'll be on the next video. Anyway, that one's done, and look at that, I've saved everything and made it all proper for $9,700. Woo! Bugger. And that's probably why I make a lot of stuff. Those rear guards to buy are about $1,400 for a set. So I'm taking the ones off the other tractor to put on here, but when I come to do the tractor I'm stealing from, I'm going to rebuild the old mud guards, because I can do that for like probably a couple of $100 rather than, you know, 1,400. So it does work out cheaper making stuff yourself. A lot of time, obviously, but yeah, it's yeah, not a cheap hobby, not a cheap hobby. Anyway, thank you very much.